Alright, what's going on, folks? Little friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you today from Robinson County, North Carolina. The noise you hear in the background is that of a 1911 45 semi-automatic being disassembled for the purpose of cleaning. I shot this the other day. I haven't really got around to giving it a full cleaning. I wiped everything off and lubed it up and that kind of thing, but I need to give this thing a thorough cleaning. Where I shot it the other day, because she is just a tad filthy. I must have shot at least 8 or 9 magazines through it. So, anyway, my brick masons are still out there at it. They had a little hiccup they had to fix today, so I was throwing them off today, but hey, things happen. Things happen, but they're out there getting at it and working hard to get it done. God bless them. So, anyway, folks, we're just out here doing our thing. So, saw an article in the news this morning about another shooting, this time at a FedEx facility in Indiana. Now, folks, twice a coincidence, 3 times, something's going on. That's the 3rd or 4th mass shooting that has made the news in 3-4 weeks. All on the heels of this worthless president of ours, commander-in-chief that is, and his attempt to pass communist gun control. Okay? What do you mean communist gun control, old soldier? Trying to control and eradicate the Second Amendment by executive order, which he cannot do. It is illegal. It is something that he has not the power to do, but is attempting to do. And he's trying his hardest to do. So I don't find it odd for another mass shooting. Now, YouTube, seeing how you're playing political censor here. This is my opinion, YouTube, that somebody or someone or something or some agency is behind these mass shootings. Now, to be quite honest with you, I have no way at all to prove it. But I would certainly say that the theory is very plausible. I would not be surprised if that is what's happening. Now you're saying to yourself, well, what do you mean? Well, let's think about this for a minute, folks. During the Obama administration, all those guns turned up missing during Fast and Furious that were intentionally released with the guise of cracking down on drug cartels, which also read it caused the death of several U.S. government agents. Okay? Stand by. I gotta get some more Q-tips.
Welcome to
So I'm under firm belief that there are government agents / agencies behind this rash of mass shootings. Now, someone say, what about all the ones during the Trump administration? Could very well be. Does that mean President Trump was the one that put him up to it? No. Could he have? Possibly. Did he? Doubt it. And why can you say that about the Obama administration? Because he is the same communist ilk that Joe Biden has been a part of his entire political career. Okay? Why would a government agency want to do mass shootings, kill all these people? Simple. If you want something to happen that you know you need to turn the public's opinion, why not put somebody out there to make it happen? Put the idea in somebody's head for it to happen. Okay? You take that major out at Fort Hood years ago, went on a military base with a handgun, shot up all those people and killed them. Of course, they wouldn't admit that he was an Islamic extremist or terrorist. No, can't do that. Especially when you got one in the White House at the time. Yep, I said it, meant it. Obama was a Muslim, is a Muslim. Him and his husband, Michael. Excuse me, his wife, Michelle. Nope, I meant what I said, husband, Michael. One time I used to think, no, that can't be true, but my belief that she is a he, and the other he is a sick individual when it comes to what he wants for this nation. Okay, if he is homosexual, I ain't got a problem with it, but just be open about it. Come on out and tell everybody. Why lie? Okay. Why do you feel the need to lie? All right, for that, because Obama's a communist. That's all he knows how to do. So, back to what we were talking about, these mass shootings. Yeah, I firmly believe that some government agency has been put up to it. Okay. And it's sad that they would do something like that within our own borders. Again, I can't prove it, but I'm not going to withhold my speculations anymore. Okay. Just like the whole Dante Wright thing. Let's talk about that for a minute. Now, this is supposedly an officer-involved shooting, right? Where the officer is clearly heard on tape, I'll tase you, taser, 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 I'll tase you. And then as the car pulls off, she tells her colleagues that she shot him. Now, if you watch that videotape very closely, and I've watched it from 3 or 4 different sources already. Not once did I hear the gun fire, nor did I see the gun cycle. Now, I could be wrong, but do your own research. But take a long, hard look at that video. You tell me if you heard that gun fire, and tell me if you saw the gun cycle. Okay? You've also got the whole thing with the Derek Chauvin trial going on. Yesterday he pleaded the Fifth Amendment. He was not going to testify in his own defense, for whatever reason. I'm still a firm believer that the man in jail is not Derek Chauvin. Yeah, I know, folks, I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist, ain't I? I've got my reasons behind that. If you look at the video of the officer holding the knee on the back of the man, George Floyd, versus a picture of the man they took into custody, there's some very distinguishable differences. So, with that being said, I'm just, again, it all falls into these things that the left are wanting to do. One, they're wanting to defund police departments nationwide, not just, that's part of their end goal. I know some of y'all out there, don't may not have a great appreciation for law enforcement. It's your prerogative. My grandfather was a peace officer. His son was a peace officer. His daughter-in-law was a peace officer. My uncle, who, same who I'm talking about here, died in line of duty. Okay. He was a DMV motor officer at the time. 4 North Carolina merged the 2 departments together, and was killed at a way station by a truckload of drunks. Failed to stop, plowed right into him and another officer. Knocked my uncle into a barbed wire fence. Cut him up so bad he bled to death before they get him to the hospital. Okay. They gave the men who did it 10 years in prison. They all got out in 3. Okay. Now, so my point being there is that now we have a government that is no longer believing nor supporting our police officers. I'm not saying all cops are good. There are bad cops out there. I've seen them. I've witnessed them. I've dealt with them. Okay. I know people that are in law enforcement now, and I've talked to many of them, and they'll be the first ones to tell you they need better training. The problem is state budgets in a lot of places are cut so thin they can barely afford to pay for the equipment, uniforms, and the basic officer training that they need in order to function as a law enforcement officer. I'm not making an excuse for bad cops. Okay. I'm just pointing some simple facts out there for you. And again, back to these mass shootings as well. I'm really starting to believe that a lot of this stuff is being staged. And again, for the ulterior motive, in order to pass legislation to take away our guns by hook or crook, our means to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, our means to protect ourselves from the very law enforcement officers we're talking about. They're sworn to defend and protect us from the bad guys. Well, how do you do that? You start to, remember, naked communists, marginalize, then demonize these people. And then what happens is they start to get people into those positions that's going to support them, that will tell you that your constitutional rights are not guaranteed, that what the president said about no amendment in the Constitution is absolute. Okay? These are the things we're faced with right now, folks. These are the things you need to keep your eyes out and open to. These are the things that you need to start paying more attention to if you're not already doing so. All right? I just got suspended off Twitter too. I had a different Twitter account. I got suspended for inciting violence. Oh, I didn't incite no violence. I just told Ocasio-Cortez to go to Cuba and called her a few choice names. But Tweaker decided to take that as a insinuating violence. No, I don't care. I never really use my Twitter account much anyway. It's just the hypocrisy. That whole hypocrisy. That goes again back to the left using big tech media as their censorship device. Yep, that's what they're doing, folks. Make no moans about it. Mrs. Old Soldier said she's sorry. I said, nah. I said, you just owe me an apology. And then she gave me an ugly lip when I said that. So. I'm on YouTube, woman. She thought I was on the phone talking to somebody. I'm sitting here making a video. This will make for good social media content today, won't it? But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now, folks. Like I said, reading about that shooting incident today in Indianapolis, or Indiana. I don't know if it was Indianapolis, but in Indiana. I'm sure, Geritol Joe is going to eventually get out here and make a fool of himself with his comments and call for an immediate gun confiscation or some other drastic measure to curtail the gun violence in America, instead of waiting for an independent investigation to come out to actually see what happened, see why it happened, where it happened, what caused it, what was behind it, and addressing the situation there. And don't take this the wrong way, folks, but if it turns out that it was a minority shooter, chances are the whole thing will get dropped. Oh, you can't say that, old soldier. Yeah, I can. Because right now, here's their narrative. It has to be a white nationalist extremist that does all these things to make it newsworthy in order to push their narrative. If it's a minority shooter, you'll get 1 or 2 days coverage and you'll never hear about it again because it doesn't fit their narrative. Okay. I'm not being racist here. I'm just pointing out a fact of what they're trying to push with their agenda. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to start a riot or anything, but think about it. Anytime that it's been someone of color that does the shooting, the story gets dropped because it doesn't fit the narrative. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right? And again, we have to watch out for these things happening. Okay? And the reason, I forget which shooting it was here recently, but when it was turned out to be a person of color, they dropped the whole story. Haven't seen them talked on that story since. Okay? Now, tensions are still high in Minnesota over this stuff. And then, like I said, I also saw one post where, I forget who was saying it, but they were saying that one of the jurors, they supposedly made the quote, I've got to go back and find the article, that chances are Derek Chauvin would probably be acquitted. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that person actually said it or not. It could make for a bad hair day. But I also watched a news article today where a gentleman was out there in front of the crowds that were about to loot and riot in Minnesota. He was a man of color, telling them not to do it, that they, enough's enough, the whole 9 yards. And to me, man, it took a lot of guts for him to get up and say those things to this crowd. So that's how they're trying to divide us, folks. That's how they're trying to divide us. Anyway, anyhow, folks, that's for you, Kyle. I'm going to get off of here, finish putting this gun back together, and just going to try and hunker down for the next few days and see how things are going. But, y'all stay safe, stay vigilant, stay armed, keep your eyes open, your neck on a swivel, or head on a swivel, and just watch out and pray. I think I know to tell everybody. So, until then, God bless, take care, see you, old soldier out.